Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aliyah, and if you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. So in my previous video, I made a reversible corset, I think some few weeks ago, and then I didn't really show how I created these strips right here. So people are asking me how I created it, so this video is for you if you want to learn how to create the strips. And also the modesty panel you see right here, it's so easy and simple to make. Okay, so I'll be teaching you how to sew the strips first. So this strips has two fabrics I used here, so I'll just use it to demonstrate how I did it. So the things you need is you need your fabric right here, you need bias strips, you also need the eyelet, the machine, or if you also have the tools too, it's fine. So to determine the length of your strip, you can go ahead and then wear the top, then let someone measure you from the back all the way to the front and maybe deduct 2 inches from that point here. So you start from this point here. So when you wear the dress, whatever you have from this point here, just measure it and all the way to the front part here. So right here, so our strip is hanging a bit, so whatever you have here, just deduct it by 1 inch or 2 inches, and that'll be the length of your strip. So mine was 17, and then I went ahead to subtract 1 inch from it, which was 16. So instead of the 17, I used 16 inch for my strip length. So go ahead and then cut 1 strip each of the fabrics. So the length I'll be using will be 16, right, plus 1 inch stitching allowance, so it makes it 17 inches. And then the width of my strip was 1.5, so 1.5 plus 1 inch stitching allowance for both sides, so half here and then half on the other side when you're joining it. So that will be 2.5 inches, right? Okay, so just go ahead and then cut out your 2.5 by whatever length you have gotten for yours. So after cutting the first strip, I just went ahead to place it on the other fabric, and then I'll cut the same width and then length. So the next thing I did was I went ahead to press my stiff or gum stay. Press it on one side of the fabric. It could be any side of the fabric of your choice. So just press it on one side, and then I'll show you what to do next. So I'm done pressing my stiff on one side, so I'm just going to place it right side to right side. So if you observe my strip here, the part going towards the front is not straight here, so I'm just going to go ahead and then cut out the shape at this end here. So just take one end of your strip and then cut it out. So I'm just going to fold it in like this and then shape it the way I want to shape it. Okay, so it will look like this. So something like this is okay for me. I went ahead to pin them down. So at this point you're just going to be stitching half an inch from this point here all the way to the other side, and then when you get to the point here, make sure you just take your time and then follow the curve that is right here. So after sewing everything down, here will be open, so it's at this point that we are going to turn the strip inside out. Okay, so I've stitched my half an inch allowance. I'm just going to go ahead and then trim it a bit. Then when you're done, you're just going to turn it inside out from this point here. So it will look something like this. So just go ahead and give it a good press. And when you're done pressing it, you're just going to top stitch this part. That's after you're done pressing it, just top stitch this part here all the way to the other side. So after pressing and top stitching, this is how the top stitch is going to be like. The next thing you're going to do is you'll be marking the part where you want your eyelet to be. So I'll be going up by half of an inch. Make sure it's at the middle. So this is 1.5. So this is the middle right here. So this is where I'll be placing my eyelets. So these are the eyelets I'll be using. So you can just go ahead and use your eyelet tool or machine to place it in here, like so. So I've already done that on this dress here. So the next thing I'll be teaching you is how I inserted the strip into my fabric. So first of all, I wore my top and then I marked the places where I wanted my strip to start from, and that's this point here. So I just went ahead to remove the stitches in between the fabrics, like so. So in between this fabric and then that fabric, I just went ahead to open it up a bit. Then I placed the strip in the middle. I placed the strip in between the two fabrics here. Okay, so when you finish placing it, you just go ahead and then top stitch this part here. So make sure that when you're opening in between the fabrics here, you don't open it too much. Okay, so I just did that for both sides, here and there. So make sure that when you place it, it's in between this fabric, these two fabrics right here. Okay, the next thing I went ahead to stitch was this strip right here. So this strip just connects these 2 points together, like you can see. So I just went ahead to measure 20 inch on my bias, and I trimmed it out, and then I went ahead to fold it in like this. So after folding it in like this, I just went ahead to stitch on it all the way to the end. So that's what I'm having here. So when you're done stitching it, you're just going to use your soldering iron to bend the tips like this so that it doesn't fray at that point. So just bend the tips a bit. So that's what I've done. So you go ahead and then create 2 of this, 1 for each side. Okay, so the last thing I'll be teaching you is how I got this loop here. So for this loop, I went ahead to cut a strip of 2 inch on my bias like this. So just measure 2 inch and then cut it out. So after cutting out my 2 inch, I just went ahead to fold it in like this. Then I stitched on it. When I'm done stitching it, just fold it in like this and then place it into your fabric. So just like how I place this one in, I'll also be placing the loop in like this. So just go ahead and then unpick a bit here, place it in between the fabrics too, and then top stitch that side here. Okay, so I hope you understand what I just said. So open it a bit, whatever small space you have, just place it in between the fabrics like so, and then just top stitch that side. So you do that same thing for the other side too, and then you are done. So after you are done joining this one, and then you are done placing your loop in between, you just go ahead and then place your bias strip like this. Will look something like this. Okay, so that's just all for these strips right here. So easy to make. So the next thing I'll be teaching you is how I create my modesty panel. So since I'll be dealing with 2 sides fabric, I'm going to go ahead and then use these 2 Ankara prints right here. It's the same fabric I use for this corset top right here. So if you're doing a modesty panel and then you are using just 1 fabric, just go ahead and then cut only that fabric. So I'll be cutting 2. I'll be cutting 1 of this and 1 of that. But if you're only using 1 fabric, just go ahead and then cut double of that one. I hope you guys understand me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll be measuring the back of my corset like so. I'm having 8 inches here. So that's going to be the length of my modesty panel. So on my fabric, I'm just going to be measuring 8 inches plus half inch plus 1 inch allowance, because I'll be folding in the top part and then the bottom part. So I'll be measuring 9 inches in total, and then the width I want to use for my modesty panel is 7 inches plus 1 inch, 8 inches. So just go ahead and then mark it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, cut this out, and then cut 1 more from the other Ankara print. So I'm done cutting it like so. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll be pressing my stiff on one side of my fabric like so. After pressing your stiff to one side of the fabric, you're just going to place the fabric on each other like so. Then you just go ahead and then stitch 1/2 inch from here all the way to this point. Make sure one side is open. So I'm done pressing it. I also went ahead to fold in 1/2 inch inward like this for both sides. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll be marking the part where I will insert my boning. I'll be creating bone channels. So just divide the panel into 2 like this. Mine is 7, so 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So find the middle of your panel like this. Then draw a straight line. So I'll be inserting 3 bone into my panel like this. So I'll be inserting 1 here, 1 in the middle, and then 1 at the side here too. I'll be using ridgeline bone as my bone for the panel. I'm just gonna go ahead to mark out the width of my boning on the panel like so. So just mark it out like this. Make sure it's big enough for the bone to enter or to be inserted. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead to stitch these lines I've marked here, and then I'll go ahead and then insert my ridgeline bone to it. So you can also use plastic boning too. So the width of this ridgeline bone I have is about 1 centimeter. If you have a smaller one too, it will work, or even one that is way bigger than this too, it's fine. But just make sure that you have enough space to insert the boning on the panel. So I'm just gonna use this tape right here to finish the ends of my bone. Then I'll go ahead and insert it in. So I'll just be coming up by 1/4, or you can even go in by 1/2 inch. Then I'm just gonna finish this end here too. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 sides here. So after inserting the boning, you're just gonna go ahead to close this part with a stitch. Just top stitch this part all the way to the other side. So after stitching it, just go ahead to press it down, and then your modesty panel is ready. So with the modesty panel, you can choose to join it to your fabric with a stitch, or you can choose to wear it separately. So because my cap corset is 2 sides like this, I'll just wear it separately. So when I'm going to wear it, I'll just place it at the back of me before lacing up the back here. I hope you understand me. So in order to join it, you just go ahead and then place it here like so. Make sure it doesn't exceed the top part or the bottom part. It has to sit inside like this. But if you are okay with the position, just go ahead and then give it a straight stitch from this point all the way to the end. And that's it for this modesty panel. So if you love this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more fashion contents like this. So I'll be leaving a link to how I created this beautiful top in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.